Yo, Liam back for another episode of Minecraft survival games. Today we're playing the map Demon's Breeze, and guys, it has been a while since I've uttered those words. I don't think I've recorded, actually sat down and recorded a video since the beginning of May. There have been some uploads till about mid-May, but for the past 12 days or so, since today is the 26th as I'm recording this, you guys really haven't heard from me. If you don't follow my Twitter, you've heard absolutely nothing from me because I have not done anything on Twitch or YouTube for the past 12 days at least. But for those few of you that follow me on Twitter, you know exactly what I was busy with. Is my render distance different? It looks a bit smaller than usual. But I have been busy with graduation week. At my school, we call it senior week. I'll call it graduation week for you guys to keep things simple. But basically, I had a long slew of events I had to get done in order to be able to graduate. And my school had enough made-up rules that just seemed to come out of thin air that it kept me preoccupied for a while. So that is where I was last week. And obviously, graduating high school is a huge momentous event in one's life. So I've decided that I'm gonna cover the entire week in the span of, I think, 3 videos. I think I should be able to get everything done in 3 videos. So yeah, so we'll just go with that. Today's video is probably gonna be a bit shorter, but basically graduation week consisted of 7 events, and these were their events. That's what my brother and I called them. They were long and they were very time-consuming events. So, the first thing I had to do was, last week, starting on Monday, it was baccalaureate rehearsal. Or at least that's what they called it. For those of you that don't know, baccalaureate is a religious service given to high school graduates. It's kind of like a religious send-off, if that makes sense. You, say some prayers and, bless the kids for, a good future or whatever. You know, just kind of that stuff. And anyway, we had to rehearse for it. So, that's a pretty common, thing for a baccalaureate, to rehearse it. But when I actually got there, they just sat all the seniors in a ton of seats, and basically they just bitched at us. That's all they did. They just bitched and bitched and bitched about graduation requirements that some kids still had left to complete. And then, so yeah, they got someone up there to talk about 30 minutes about some of the graduation requirements that some of the kids needed to complete. And since I had done everything that I needed to, I hated the fact that I just had to sit there because of other people's stupidity. You guys know me and stupid people. I can't stand stuff like that. So I just had to sit there because we had to get through the rehearsal anyway. Then we had a staff member come up and explain how... Hold on. We had to hear a long spiel about how graduation is about the parents, not about the students. And am I the only one who thinks that logic is BS? I mean, both of my parents already have their high school diplomas. They're, anyone who's coming to see the graduation is coming to see the kids graduate. That's the point. It's about the hard work the kids have put in to graduate. And that might sound like a selfish thing considering it's my own graduation, but I think the same thing about a ton of other graduations. You know, I'm not the only person who's ever graduated high school. If another school has a graduation, it's about the kids at that school who have done the hard work to graduate. So I just hate that logic. And anyway, then we did the rehearsal, and basically, I thought the rehearsal would take, the actual rehearsal part would take, an hour. But basically, they just handed us a sheet telling us the order we needed to stand in a line to get our seats at the actual baccalaureate. So it proved to only take about 5 minutes, but we were at the school for an hour and a half while they explained the graduation requirements and then the spiel about how it's about the parents, you know, and then we got to do the actual thing that we'd come there for. I'm actually gonna check. I mean, it's at 8. It just looks a bit shorter than usual. I don't know. Anyway, next thing I had to do was present my, this was on Tuesday, by the way, and there were 2 events on Tuesday. There was a senior dinner and my internship presentation. yeah, believe it or not, at my school, you actually need an internship to graduate. And the number of hours you need to complete your internship requirement is based on the number of AP classes you have. Seeing as I was in 4 AP classes, I only had to do 20 hours of interning. But some kids who had like 0 AP classes had to do 50 hours. So I really got a small... I didn't get as much as some of the other kids, but then again, I had harder classes, so it evened out. And I didn't mention this earlier, just for privacy reasons, but I feel like I should talk about it a bit now. My internship was actually at a video game company, as weird as that sounds, right here in Dallas. I'm not going to say the name of the company or what games the company makes or helps develop, for privacy reasons, because I don't know if I'm allowed to even disclose that, but I might as well talk about it. So, imagine, like, when you're... Okay, so, I'll tell you guys about the internship now. Take what you think a video game, factory, I don't really know the word. Okay, like, imagine when you were 5. You must, like, if you had to imagine what the place looked like where they created video games, imagine what that was like when you were 5. When you were 5 years old, and you knew video games had to come from somewhere, you probably thought it was like a giant fun factory where they just had a ton of cool stuff everywhere, and it was just fun. Everything was very fun, and they probably had some computers here and there. And guys, I'm here to tell you that that is exactly what it is like. Believe it or not, I could not believe it when I first walked into this place. I walked in, there's a bunch of cool posters on the walls from video games. They had a life-size Minecraft creeper statue somewhere. They had the company's logo made out of Legos. There were computers everywhere, a bunch of cool artwork designs on the wall. It was so colorful, and it looked like a ton of fun. There were also a lot of computers everywhere, as I just mentioned, for the programmers to develop the games. But it was just extremely cool. And they had like a giant cafe area with a ton of candy, and they had like giant board games set out so the workers could play some fun games on their breaks. They were too complicated. I didn't really get them. It's not like Monopoly stuff. It's like kind of like more nerdy code games, I guess. Yeah, it was a cool place though. Very interesting to see. Okay. So we're going off to deathmatch here. And I did some cool things at my internship. I think I could finish this. It might spill a bit into overtime. But I did some cool things at my internship. I got to play test some games, which was cool. So I could see, like, I realized how much effort companies put into, like, play testing games. They want to make sure they have all the frustrating and confusing things ironed out before releasing the full game. So I play tested some games. I had to look at online reviews of some stuff. I sat in a couple business meetings. Fun fact, if you want to know, Clash Royale, the app, made $55 million in 5 weeks, and Hearthstone made $45 million in 5 weeks. That's just one thing I took away from that business meeting, in case you guys were wondering. But there was also some other stuff that I really hated. There was some code I had to look through and edit. I didn't have to know code to figure this out, but it was really annoying. Okay, here, let me team with this dude over here. Yeah, I had to go through some code. I had to translate a PDF from Swedish into English, and the only translation site I could find, of course, was Google Translate. It's much easier to find, like, Spanish to English translation websites. And, you know, Google Translate was actually pretty good for that assignment, but, you know, it was just kind of tedious. All the stuff I didn't like about the internship was just tedious, busy work, but, you know, with an internship that you give to a high school kid that doesn't really know how to code anything, you just kind of have to expect that. But I didn't mind. It was cool that I was at least helping. the people with their projects. But it was fun to, like, play test the games and sit in a business meeting. And I actually had to research content creators. I had to... Hold on. Okay, so this teammate ain't really on my side here. I had to research some YouTube and Twitch content creators for some games. It's very complicated, but overall it was a lot of fun. So that was kind of my video game internship experience. In the future, I might want to go into the video game industry, but from a business standpoint, not really a programmer standpoint. Obviously, I'm going to school for business, if I have not said that already. So I want to do something very business related. Got him. There we go. I haven't played Minecraft in like 3 weeks, but I still managed to get a win there, which is cool. So yeah, I want to enter the... I'm considering entering the video game industry with a business degree, and trying to work more of the business aspects, you know, how much will it cost, like, finance the games, how do I get distributed to stores, stuff like that. I'd be very interested to work in, for a video game company to try to figure that stuff out. So yeah, so those were the 2 events. First was the baccalaureate rehearsal where we just got bitched at the whole time, and then there was the presentation of my internship. I just had to come to school and present my internship to a bunch of staff members. So basically what I just described you about my internship, I had to tell that to some people, and I had a PowerPoint whipped up and everything. So next time we're gonna get to the senior dinner, what did I do? The graduation rehearsal and the baccalaureate. So, and then the 3rd video in this series will be graduation and the after party. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching this episode of MCSG. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!